What's up, and welcome back. So, this episode is going to be about the illusion of lasting recognition and how the journey really is the destination, even though you hear that so many times. I've heard it thousands of times where it's like, I understand what's being said, but it still didn't really hit until it was in my face. And what brought it to my face was actually when I won my title, because I sacrificed everything for fighting. And it paints this idea that although you know innately life is going to continue after this accomplishment, what's planted in us is the idea that once you accomplish this, once you achieve this goal that you gave everything to, life is going to never be the same in the best of ways. That everything that you've put into this is going to pay off and you're finally going to be able to live your dream life. That everything that you thought was going to happen leading up to this moment, that's what's going to take place. The very thing that you see at the end of the movies after you're cheering the main character on, it's like, okay, you see yourself like the main character, and this is going to be your moment. This is going to be the moment where everything becomes different and things really start to change. And now it was all for something. It was never all for nothing. It was for this moment that you have been sacrificing every single thing for. And for me, what brought that to my face was with fighting, because when I became a champion, leading up to it, I knew that this was going to be like the stepping stone to becoming a professional champion. But once I became a champion, I realized nothing felt different. There was no like moment of payoff. It was always like on to the next, on to the next. And even my instructor legit had to slap me in my face in the cage. Like, we're taking pictures, and in the pictures, like I'm stone faced because I'm still thinking ahead of like who I need to prepare for. And my instructor was like, fucking smile. Smile, you won, you're a champion. Like, and I was just like, yes, I could have done this better. And I also need to like start preparing. And he's like, I get that. I understand that. But we get to work on that tomorrow. In this moment, you're a champion. You have the belt around your waist. This is what all the preparation was for. And we can continue to build up off of that. And as I'm saying, I get that, and I go to like go deeper into what I feel I messed up on and what I could have done better. Slaps the shit out of me, which, okay, that'll be the only person I would allow to do that in that moment of time. So then I laughed, and I was like, okay, like he brought me back in the moment out of it. And as I started to, I went pro and I kept fighting, I started to like zoom out because I started to realize certain things. The deeper I went into self-development and spirituality, things just get put into your face. At least for me, it started to get put into my face where I started to realize like more things about myself. And I started to realize things about those I was looking up to too, because I realized Muhammad Ali, great boxer, phenomenal boxer, one of the greatest of all time, known as the greatest, is actually, I saw it in real time, especially when he passed, even like a little before, but especially when he passed, like how fast he became forgotten. Right now, the people that are keeping his name alive are the people that knew of him. And in due time, they're transitioning their way out. And I don't really hear his name as much anymore. And same thing with Tyson. Right now, Tyson, if you ask like around the world for the most part, he's pretty known for just fighting Jake Paul, which is fucking crazy because he was my favorite fighter, one of the best boxers, and was known as like the most dominant heavyweight champion and like the most dangerous man in the world. And like, he has like all these accomplishments, but he's not known for that anymore. That's like it's been just fading. Right now, the main thing he's known for that will pop up to like people's minds is that Jake Paul fight, which again is just insane because of what he has accomplished. But then that started to show me how that just withers away. The idea of being immortalized really doesn't exist. There were boxers before them that were the greatest that I have no clue about. So many people don't have any clue of their existence, but they gave their all and they sacrificed for those accomplishments. And the way you get to see that in real time is if you ever watch, like I watch some boxing from time to time, they still do it there too, but especially like I watch UFC. So in watching MMA fights and you see somebody defend their title or become a champion, what's the very first thing, well, probably the second thing that they ask? Right away, it's always like, who do you want to fight next? Who do you want to fight next? There's a top contender. Sometimes they bring them like into the ring or into the cage. It's like, dog, I just had the fight. I just won the title. And you're already on to the next one. Like this moment didn't even get to settle yet. I still got sweat on me from the fight. You know what I mean? Like, can I acclimate to the fact that this just happened? And in realizing and seeing that, I was just like, nobody really remembers any of this. And what's crazy is like the idea, like I had in my mind, I'm going to be the best ever. I'm going to be a champion. And I approached it as such, and I was known for being dominant. And I had my reasons behind it of doing it. It wasn't for other people, but I also realized, like, out of all things, like, why do you want to be a champion? At the end of the day, they're still wanting the recognition for the skill that you've acquired. So yes, it's for me, but it's also for the recognition. Also to be, again, this idea of being immortalized or being remembered of somebody that was of value, of worth, of great skill, somebody to not be forgotten. And there was this paradox that took place where I had a fight when I was pro, and it was a fight that I lost, a fight that I should not have gone into because I hurt my knee in training. The only time I've ever gotten hurt was in training, but I hurt my knee in training and it wasn't stable. It was my left knee. I couldn't kick, I couldn't shoot, everything I had to do was in place. If I moved, my knee was unstable and was without a sleeve. I had to wear a sleeve, a knee brace, and I would do a lot of leg strengthening exercises. But even with that, I could feel if I move in any way, I'm gonna fucking fall. And in place, I could handle my own. I was catching people, I could slip and move, but it was all in place. If anything happened out of position, then I'm beat. But I was so fixated on the idea of becoming a champion and the idea of becoming the best in the world that I didn't matter. I sacrificed everything. I sacrificed hanging out with family, friends. I didn't go to weddings, no birthdays. Nobody saw me unless I was hurt. Or unless you came to my fight. And I was so fixated on that I didn't care about how I felt. It was just okay, I can fight in place. So I just need to be more strategic as to how I approach this fight. Because again, I didn't want to slow down the momentum I've gathered from dominating fights and it's still going, that I was willing to just sacrifice myself by all means. I already sacrificed everything. So I don't matter, the goal matters, because that's the most important thing. I'm willing to give up any and everything to become a champion. So I went to that fight, and even backstage, I'm warming up, and it's I'm trying to kick because it's starting to feel better, and I couldn't really pivot off of the foot. So I can't really generate torque. So again, I just have to be in place and just only box, which limits me tremendously. And I got nice hands, but again, this is a mixed martial arts fight. So that means there's kicks, there's takedowns, there's so many things, and I'm just having to be in place. So the fight starts, and then that was a fight that I lost because I tried to step in so I don't have to worry about my knee, got a flash knockdown, and the ref stopped the fight. Didn't get knocked down, it was a flash drop, and then as I was coming up, ref stopped it. So I was okay. I accepted that because it was like, even if the fight continued on the ground or anywhere, that's why I realized like I shouldn't have been here anyway. But what happens when you lose a fight? Well, it's for me, right? But even with all fighters, there's something that we all share, and that they all share because I retired now, is when you lose, you feel like you let down the entire world. Anybody that has supported you in your dream, you feel you've let down. And it's the worst, most depressive feeling. So I felt that, and I was like, fuck. Now I had to like generate momentum again, and not only generate that momentum, but it's like, again, this whole feeling of letting everybody else down, that it's like now, not only do I have to prove myself right, I have to also prove them right for supporting me and show up in the best way possible. And like, it's just this fighting like 1,000 times gravity, like in that moment for a long time. And then my instructor saw that and spoke to me about like being hurt and acknowledged the courage that I had to still step in there, but it still wasn't the best move. He spoke to me about pulling out, and he knows about me, like once I make a decision, I stick to it. So there was no talking me out of it. So don't even try to say anything bad about him. I wasn't gonna let it happen. I'm the one that signed the contract. I'm a grown man. So he invited me to still go out with everybody that came out. And I was known for bringing big crowds when I fought. And I was like, okay. And as crushed as I felt, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. Because they were all waiting for me. They all came for me, and everybody's waiting for me to go get something to eat. I was like, okay. And I went, and everybody like still gave me love, still gave me words of encouragement, which is very beautiful. And I'm trying to receive it in the midst of feeling down and feeling hurt. And as some time passed by, it was like half an hour, then an hour, like I'm looking, and everybody's smiling. Everybody's like talking about like all the other fights and what they're gonna do tomorrow and if they're gonna train and all this stuff. As I'm looking, I was just like, they're like already on to the next one. And as we walked back, and you know, we walked to different areas, and I peeked inside, the crowd's still just watching the fights. Nobody's remembering that I just lost, except for me. Nobody's really like holding on to it and like really using it to beat up on me other than me. And that just got to show me that it's not going to be remembered. It's not going to be held onto till the end of time. In real time, people are already moving on. So again, it brought up this question as to the idea of being immortalized and being remembered. It's like, this thing just happened. And in my world, it's like fucking, it's deep, it's ingrained, it's still fucking going on. I wish it never happens. But to everybody else, they're already, it's whatever. And then to the flip side of this, the fight that I won, I gave everything left that I had to it, because I was just watching more fights and studying more fights, and then watching film, and then creating like ways of being able to amplify my mind and more strength and conditioning. Like I just turned everything up. Like if I had any ounce of additional time that wasn't intentional, I found a use for it. Even resting, I was like, okay, there will be like intentional rest. And like I will rest with a purpose. I went to that fight, and it meant a lot for me to win, because it felt so heavy to lose. And I beat the guy, first fight of the night, first round, TKO, and it was just like, I'm covered, drenched in blood. Like, like it was so gratifying in so many ways. And like, even when I was thanking everybody after the fight, like I was choking up, because I was saying like, man, this was important for me. It was important for me to like turn the momentum around and like get back on track and have everybody see that like you're supporting me for a reason, because I am going to be a champion and I am the best. And I do back up everything that I say. Like this means everything to me. So then everybody's excited and we go out to eat and we go out to like bars and stuff to drink. But even when we're out to eat, half hour in, I scan around and it's the same thing. It's like everybody's like laughing and talking and stuff, and now like the fights being mentioned, other fights and stuff, but I can still see like they've already carried on. It's not as lasting of a moment as it is for me. And it's something I get to see like even as the week played out. When the week played out when I lost, like, yeah, I got some friends and teammates consoling me and like giving me some like kind words of encouragement throughout the week. But by like the end of the week, 4 days to the end of the week, it was done. They're already like on to the next, right? Let it go. And then same thing with the win. With the win, it lasted like a little longer, a week, 2 weeks, and same thing. Cool. On to the next. When's your next fight? With both of them, when's your next fight? I got to see that it's going to be this never-ending thing. And that highlighted that moment at the end of every title fight. And trust me, you're probably going to see it a lot more now, how quickly when somebody becomes a champion or they defend their title, how quickly they get asked, who's your next fight? If they don't ask them in the cage or in the ring, best believe they're being asked post-fight conference, which is like half an hour later. Some people are still covered in blood and they're there taking the questions. Max hour later, and they're being asked, who are you taking as the next fight? That goes to show you how fast time moves, how fast life moves. And the idea that we have instilled of I'm grinding towards this, right? I'm hustling towards this, whether it's business or whatever. The idea that you're going to be remembered for it. And it's just not true. It's not true. Everybody has their own lives that they are the main character of. Life is moving at a constant pace. It doesn't slow down. It's just this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. And it's like you can hold on to a memory, but it doesn't change the fact that life is still loading in real time. And the same way, again, seeing Ali, seeing Tyson, and then having these experiences, that's when I realized, like, even though I was a champion at amateur, right? A champion, defending my title, it's gonna be the same thing at pro. The same thing when I was fighting a pro, building my way up, it was the same exact shit that I went through as an amateur. The only difference, I got paid. But MMA fighters don't get paid that much. And it's like, I got more sponsorships and I'm able to get paid for it, but nothing really changed. So that got to show me, like it gave me foresight, okay, the process is going to be the same. That means I'm going to like have the sacrifice, go. It's going to be tougher fights, and for sure, but it's going to be the same exact thing. I'm going to have this idea in my head of becoming a champion, and then I'm going to get the title and realize I'm going to be asked that same exact question. And now it's going to shift to what? Title defenses. And then it's this like ongoing thing of realizing like there's no destination. And the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna become a champion, and you work so hard to get it, to only realize that it's not what you made it to be, that life still continues on. And it's just good to realize like, okay, once you get your accomplishment, because you're going to get your accomplishment, you're going to achieve it. What then? Because life is going to continue on. And I got to see that I didn't want to keep sacrificing myself for something that wasn't giving me anything in return. It was just like constant giving and giving and giving and giving. And like I got to, the return I got was like an inspiring people and like, you know, giving back and being able to do what I love. But the sacrifice was way more than living an enjoyable life. And I got to see that like, even in becoming a champion, all that was going to have me do was look back with the illusion that it paid off. But then realizing it's just going to continue to be more of the same. Because there's so many people that have been champions in UFC that they're not remembered anymore. And it's like Jose Aldo, one of the best featherweights, is now just some random dude to a lot of people, which is crazy. But again, it goes to show how fast life goes. Well, not how fast life goes, but just how steady it goes. But there's such a beautiful way to use this like forgetfulness that takes place. And it's two things. Number one, be remembered now. Be remembered now for the things that you do. Be remembered now for the way that you make people feel. How do you choose to show up from moment to moment? How you choose to make people feel? That's the thing people never forget. Not for something that's going to happen. What's the impact you want to have now? Because you don't need to wait for something to happen to have an impact on people. You come across people every single day. That's a life. That's a life. That's a person. And you get to have an impact on that person's life. And it could be in the most beautiful way. And for me, the way I like to do it is just allowing people to feel safe around me. To feel safe being seen. And being encouraged to draw that out more. And be playful. And you get to just have your own mark. And be remembered now. It doesn't need to be by name, it just needs to be by your presence. And number two, right, the flip side of this is using that forgetfulness to your benefit. Using it as your permission to just fucking try shit, right? Like on my Instagram, there's times I'll like Instagram, YouTube, like TikTok, I'll just try different stuff. I'll just do different videos, different style videos, because it's like, who the fuck is gonna remember? Nobody's really gonna remember. They might remember for like 5 minutes, not even. I mean, with the pace that people scroll, they'll probably like remember for a couple seconds, and they're like, like I don't know I don't know what that was about. I don't know what Mike was doing, but or maybe that was pretty cool. I like that. And either way, they're going on. So how can you just use that to play with different like dynamics of you? Right? If you are usually like a mellow person, right? For the longest time, I was like just the most chillest, mellowest dude. But I also missed the part of me that's like more expressive and more excited and more like jovial. And I wanted to bring that out. And for a time, I was thinking like, yeah, but then I'm kind of known for this demeanor, and like that's what I'm remembered by. And then I remember this whole thing. It's like, no, I'm not really remembered by it. Like, is it something that people kind of expect because that's what I bring all the time? Yeah. I can also just show them different sides of me and just come with this very expressive, fun side of me. And then when I do, people are like, oh my God, I didn't know that you had this within you. I was like, yeah, I have all these different parts of me. I'm a dynamic being. And like, I give myself the permission to be as expressive as I want to be. So use this as a way to give yourself the permission to just try different shit out. You wanna switch out your style and just do something different? Do it. Who is going to remember? They're only going to remember you now. So you want to be more expressive? Try it. You want to be a little more chill? Try it. I go by whatever mood I'm in. If I feel like I have the energy and I like want to be out and about, that's what you're gonna see. And usually I give myself the space so I can do that because I love being in that space because I get to share my energy. But if I'm just in a moment in time where it's just like, I'm chilling, I'm mellow, I just feel like relaxing. And people be like, you okay? Be like, yeah, I'm just cooling, I'm mellow. It's like, we can have conversation, but this is just gonna be my energy. I'm enjoying your energy and how like vibrant and excited you are. But this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. I'm kind of like, if I could wear my big plushy red robe right now, I'll be wearing it. This is where I'm at right now. So, just give yourself permission, knowing nobody's gonna remember. Nobody's gonna remember because nobody really cares. And that could be a blow, right? It's usually a blow if it's like towards something that you're working towards. Again, like for me, like with the whole winning the fight, and it's like, damn, like people are already on to the next one. But it's like, that's also very freeing. So you can just see it in the freeing sense that like, okay, even if you want to do something that you feel people won't vibe with or accept, some shit's gonna happen over time. Some shit's gonna happen over time, and they're not gonna be able to remember. Even when I like told my parents my preferences, right, and how I like men as well. When I told my pops, he was tripping. He was just, saying how he felt like a failure and all this stuff. And guess what? Over time, he got too much stuff to worry about to like keep harping on that. Does it come up from time to time? Not really much anymore. Because again, the pace that life continues on, the way I like to see how I saw my titles and how I saw the accomplishments is it's like statues on a flowing river, right? I keep them around because it's a part of my life, and I'm proud of me and the version of me that accomplished those things, right? It's still me, and I'm still proud of, parts of my life that I think is pretty fucking dope. Not many people have done it. So, but again, it's like statues on the flowing river. And you can see that as whatever experiences happen in your life, it's just statues on a flowing river. You might see it, and depending on the flow of the river, you still might have the statue in sight for some time. But eventually, the river is going to continue flowing, and the statue is just going to keep drifting until it's out of sight. And then now, whatever's around you now that you're flowing past, that's what has your attention. So you get to use that to your benefit and give yourself the permission of just like, what do you want to do? Remember, this is your life. What do you want to do? And how do you want to feel? Because the person that's going, the person that's going to remember this more than anything is you. Because you're the one that's remembering the statues that you saw and what it meant to you. Because you placed those statues there because they're important to you. So, what do you want to see on your flowing river? What matters to you most? And how do you want to feel in that flowing river? Because I like to feel like a lazy river, like relaxing with the sun on me. Yeah, this is kind of like my vibe. So yeah, with that, I got mad hype. I love lazy rivers, so it got me like just thinking about that. And with that, you get to see how the journey is the destination. And there's really nowhere to go. It's where you are, right? You're on your raft on the lazy river. How can that be the most enjoyable thing? How can you enjoy the statues around you, or the trees, or maybe even just the grass, the sun, or the people that are flowing with you? How can you enjoy their company more than ever? Because it's this. And that's how I got to realize truly what people meant by the journey is the destination. There really is nowhere to go. There's nowhere to be. It doesn't really end. And even the end, right? I still don't really think that's the end. It still continues on in its own way. With that being said, I'm wishing you an amazing day, and I'm wishing you an amazing night. If it's nighttime by you, be sure to like, Share this with anybody that, you know, you can have a deep conversation about with, because I feel like it's an interesting topic of really how the journey is the destination and how there really is no lasting recognition. And I will catch you all later.